In 1993, the quiet town of West Memphis, Arkansas, was suddenly thrust into national attention. What began as an ordinary evening quickly turned into every parent's worst nightmare. 3 young boys failed to return home. At first, families hoped they were simply late. Neighbors joined the search. The town waited. Hours passed and hope faded. Then came the discovery that would change everything. The boys' bodies were found in a wooded area near the city. Fear spread instantly. Residents demanded answers. Someone had to be held responsible. Police were placed under intense pressure. The community wanted justice, and they wanted it fast. As the investigation moved forward, attention quickly focused on 3 local teenagers. They stood out. Their appearance, interests, and behavior did not fit the expectations of the town. Suspicion grew. But when investigators looked closer, the case became far more complicated. Physical evidence was limited. Witness statements conflicted. Some confessions raised serious concerns about how they were obtained. Despite these uncertainties, the case moved rapidly toward trial. The courtroom became the center of national debate. Supporters believed the teens were guilty. Others argued the investigation had been rushed and deeply flawed. Media coverage intensified the divide, turning the case into a symbol of fear, pressure, and judgment. As years passed, new questions emerged. Or whether the system had failed under the weight of public panic. Doubts grew stronger. And the central question many began to wonder whether justice had truly been served. What really happened that night? As morning broke, West Memphis changed completely. The forest was sealed off. Police and forensic teams took control of the scene. Every step was careful, but the pressure was intense. The town wanted answers. Fear spread quickly through the community. People began to look at each other differently. Newspaper headlines fueled the panic. Everyone asked the same question: who did this? Investigators were racing against time. Soon, attention turned to 3 local teenagers. They stood out. Their appearance, interests, and behavior made them easy targets for suspicion. The direction of the investigation shifted rapidly, but questions kept piling up. Clear evidence was limited. Some statements didn't match. Interrogations continued under growing pressure, and the reliability of certain confessions would later be questioned. By then, the town seemed to have made up its mind. Someone had to be blamed. Living with uncertainty felt worse than accepting a simple answer. And that raised the most dangerous question of all. Was the investigation searching for the truth, or simply for someone to take the fall? As the trial began, the town of West Memphis became deeply divided. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere was heavy and tense. 3 teenagers sat at the defense table, visibly overwhelmed. Fear, confusion, and exhaustion were written across their faces. For them, the process felt impossible to fully understand. The prosecution presented its case with confidence. The narrative sounded convincing at first. Certain claims appeared strong, but when examined closely, serious gaps began to emerge. Physical evidence was limited. Witness statements conflicted. Key details remained unclear. The defense focused on these inconsistencies. They argued that the investigation had been rushed. They pointed out questionable interrogation methods and unreliable confessions. Yet in a courtroom driven by emotion, doubt struggled to gain ground. Media coverage intensified the pressure. Headlines shaped public opinion long before the verdict. For many in the community, the priority was not truth, but closure. Someone needed to be held responsible. This is where the most dangerous shift occurred. The trial seemed less about discovering facts and more about calming fear. Once a narrative takes hold, challenging it becomes nearly impossible. The teenagers appeared small against the system judging them. Their expressions told a story of uncertainty rather than guilt. Still, the process moved forward. At this moment, the West Memphis 3 case stopped being just about a crime. It became a symbol of how fear, pressure, and assumptions can influence justice. And if a mistake was made here, It would echo for decades. Years passed, but the case refused to fade. The West Memphis Three became a national conversation. Lawyers, journalists, and independent experts began re-examining the evidence. Questions multiplied, doubts deepened. Serious inconsistencies appeared within court records. Some witnesses later changed their statements. Evidence once considered crucial now seemed unreliable. Most importantly, advances in forensic technology allowed old materials to be reviewed in new ways. Public opinion split sharply. Some believed the convictions were justified. Others grew increasingly convinced that a mistake had been made. Each new document raised another question, while clear answers remained scarce. Meanwhile, the lives of the three teenagers had been permanently altered. Years were lost behind prison walls. Hope faded, but never disappeared. Every appeal, every review represented another chance for justice. This case was no longer just about three individuals. It exposed how systems operate under pressure, how fear can influence decisions, and how errors can become permanent. A new question emerged. If a mistake occurred, could it still be corrected? The case entered a new phase. Debates intensified. Files were reopened. The West Memphis Three transformed into a symbol, not only of controversy, but of the possibility of re-examining justice itself. Yet the ending remained uncertain, because at the heart of this story lies a question still unanswered. In the end, can the truth prevail?
What if the story was wrong?